A beautiful, wonderful day. If you are watching this in the middle of your very busy day, thank you so much for being here. I need you to take a minute and maybe pause the video and just take 3 full deep breaths, keeping your mouth closed, and be observant of the breath that you take. And at the end of the third breath, express a little bit of gratitude. Okay, we can do it together. Thank you to my beautiful body that breathes so well for me. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this beautiful music. Thank you for the peace. Thank you for you. Thank you for all of us here together. And let's get into today's video. So today I want to talk about protein. And yesterday I asked you if you want me to just make a quick revision notes sort of a thing when it comes to protein. And a lot of you said yes. So here I am. Your wish is my command. And I just want to keep it really simple, okay? So talking about protein, is protein important? I think we clearly know by now that yes, it is 100% important. It is non-negotiable and all of us need it. Amino acids is the building block of life and everyone needs it, okay? So that's non-negotiable, we know it. But then there are certain prerequisites when it comes to ingestion of protein, how your body takes it, how do you digest it, how is your gut health, how are your hormones, how do you feel, how do you poop, how do you sleep, how is your energy, where do you live, how are your stress factors, how are you working out, how are you recovering. So there are so many variables when it comes to any food group, any macronutrient that decides that what that particular food group or that macronutrient is going to do to your body. So protein is 100% important. We all need it, but for a lot of people the biggest mistake that I see them making is let's just start with the myth, okay? Number one, that people who are going to the gym are the only people who need to take whey protein shakes or even protein for that matter, and all of us are going to be okay with just doing roti and sabzi, okay? This does not mean that I'm trying to demean roti and sabzi or the traditional way that Indians eat, we eat, I have eaten. It's just that there is something known as science, there is something known as research, there is something known as the time that we live in, the beautiful time in the world that we live in, that now we have the resources to look into things and just to see how this beautiful body is functioning, and all of us are trying to just get into it and just find that right amount of information that can help humanity, that can help mankind. And this is where we stand with protein. So no, even if you don't go to the gym, you need that protein, okay? But given that your gut is fine and your hormones are balanced and you feel great and you sleep well, okay? I'm not going to repeat this one statement all in all over and over again, but you just have to know that this is what I mean when I say you need protein if your gut is fine and if your hormones are balanced. So there is something known as, the more sedentary you are, the more protein you need. And why is that? So there is a mechanism known as muscle protein synthesis, and to keep it simple, you can just think of it as something that is helping you to build up instead of constantly breaking down. So when you go to the gym, when you lift weights, when you're doing cardio and all of these things, okay, it is you are using your body's energy, your muscle fibers are breaking down, and it's not the breakdown where miracle happens, it's the building up where the miracle happens. So that building up is something where your muscle protein synthesis comes into account. Now there are only two ways that we know as of now that is going to initiate muscle protein synthesis. Number one, Emptor signaling. So muscle protein synthesis works in the presence of Emptor, that is your mammalian target of rapamycin. You can study and read more about this. There are beautiful papers on NCBI, PubMed, and Wellness Health and sort of those websites. There are beautiful articles and research papers that you can just go out and read. But basically, Emptor signaling is something that has been found that really extremely helps with muscle protein synthesis. Now, there are two ways to initiate Emptor. Number one, resistance training. Number two, the amount of protein that you have in every single meal. meal. No, it's not about 40 grams of protein in a day. It's about 40 grams of protein in a meal, because there is a isolated amino acid known as leucine, that is basically your branched chain amino acids, which has a ratio of 2:1:1 of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And we need that 3.5 grams of leucine when it comes to signaling of Emptor. So people who are going to the gym and people who are working out can also get it by just putting weights on their body and resistance training. But for people who are at home and who are sedentary, who are not moving, who are not, just doing stuff and getting in that exercise done, they are going to get that Emptor from somewhere, because they have to come back into building up phase again and not just breaking down. So when someone is going to the gym, they are breaking down, but they are getting Emptor. And even if they come back and if they have like 20 or 30 grams of protein, or let's say a whey shake that would give you about 25 grams of protein, they're still going to be in a good place, because that Emptor signaling was initiated when they were working out. And that is how they got that, that leucine and that Emptor going on. And they are now into anabolization phase post-workout, not just catabolizing. So that is the reason the more sedentary you are, the more protein you need. The biggest query that I get from my clients is, okay, Ankita, so you are asking us to now work out. So let's say if someone is with us for a 3-month program or a 6-month program, they're going to be like, okay, so now you're asking us to do body weight workouts. So do you think we should increase our protein? I'm like, no, you are good with the plan that you have, because your body is going to get that Emptor from somewhere now. And for most people, I usually work with gut health, and we do give them gut cleanse protocol, which is sort of an elimination diet kind of a thing. I would say it's an elimination protocol that has served beautifully over thousands of people all around the world. And it's just a simple basic thing that I discuss here, and I discuss on my social media platforms, Instagram as well. So all you have to do is just not eat food that burdens your system. So what do I mean by that? Now let's say there is a street known as Clover Street, okay, and you go and take a walk there every single day. There is some sort of construction work going on, and there is one spot where you always just hit yourself, and you're always hurting your knees. Okay, let's say you walk on that street and you hurt your knees. You wake up again, you walk on that street, you hurt your knees. So these knees that you hurt is your gut health, and the Clover Street is the food that you eat. So if you're constantly exposing yourself to the place that keeps on hurting you, you are going to insult the wound, you are going to insult the injury, and your body can never focus on healing and rejuvenation, because your body is constantly taking the wounds, the hits. And that is why we say elimination protocol is one of the finest things to do, because now we can stop the exposure, now we can stop the insult, now we can let the wound heal. And once the wound heals, once the body heals, can you go back to eating protein, dairy, gluten? Yes, you can, if your wound heals. And if we figure out that your body has the capacity and has the enzymes and has the right amount of stomach acid to digest these things. For most people, we hear them saying, oh, उसने इतना प्रोटीन लिया, उसका किडनी खराब हो गया, और वे प्रोटीन से यूरिक एसिड में प्रॉब्लम होती है, या फिर KFT टेस्ट ठीक नहीं आता है, या फिर कैल्शियम के साथ प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, and all of these things. Every time someone talks about these things with you, you have to tell them, how does your life look like? How does your stress look like? What is the quality of the supplements you are taking? How is your sleep? How are your emotions? How much water do you take? And what kind of foods do you couple your protein-centric diet with? And there are so many factors that comes that you have to look into when you're talking about someone's health and dialysis and kidney health. And it's not just protein that is going to damage your kidneys, until and unless, of course, if you have some sort of predisposition, if you have some sort of hereditary issues, or if you're someone who is not tolerating the food well, which brings me back to my gut health point, that you have to stop insulting the injury. So if your gut is in a good shape, and if you are able to digest the food, so if someone is taking 100 grams of protein, and if they are bloated, constipated, indigestion, acidity, they are popping pills, they are going through antibiotic treatments, their immunity is at a toss. Your immunity shouldn't be at a toss if your protein intake is great, because it's the amino acid that also helps us with the immune system regulation. It also helps you with sleep. It also gives you that beautiful skin, hair, nails growth. It's not just a collagen supplement or a biotin supplement or a B7 or a vitamin C supplement that's going to do it for you. One of the finest ways we can know someone is low on protein, or their body is not absorbing the protein that they are eating, is that they fall sick way too often, not just physically but also mentally and emotionally. That is how we know that, okay, this person really has issues with amino acids, but the solution is not not to give them more amino acids. The solution is to take care of their gut. It's to heal their gut. It's to bring their body back to homeostasis, because you are not what you eat. You are what you are able to digest, absorb, and assimilate, and something that can power the trillions of cells in your body. So when it comes to protein, you don't have to be scared. Don't let the information, social media, me, YouTube channels, and the videos and the people that you look up to scare you. It's information. I'm trying to educate you about something that I have educated myself about. And if it doesn't resonate with you, just move on. Find someone else, find something else that resonates with you, serves you, and helps you. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me being right and you being wrong, or you being right and me being wrong. It's about well-being of me. It's about well-being of you. And if you are eating 20 grams of protein, 30 grams of protein, and if it helps you, do it. Okay, this video means nothing if what you are doing right now keeps you optimally fit, helps you sleep well, your skin is great, you love your body, you love the skin that you're in, you love the body that you're in, you have that strength. You have to know that you are doing something right, and what we say is just noise, and you can just let it go, or maybe just see it as information and not be emotionally attached to it. When you look into protein, there is also something very beautiful about muscle. I think it just makes you look so chiseled. It gives you that beautiful physique and such a hot body. And I don't understand why people are so ashamed accepting that, I want a good body, and I want to look good, and I want to look muscular, and I want to be lean. What is so wrong about it? There is nothing wrong about having such dreams and goals, given that your gut is great, your hormones are balanced, your periods are good, your periods are not painful, and you sleep well, you eat well, you feel well. So when all of these things are in place, so that's what I did for the last 5 years. My goal was lose the excess fat, because fat cells in excess can be inflammatory in nature. They can create inflammation, as compared to muscle that produces myokines when it is contracted, which is going to act as an anti-inflammatory. So a pro-inflammatory lifestyle would be just doing a little bit of resistance training, maybe 3 to 4 times in a week. So initially, when I was trying to lose weight, I was trying to lose fat, and I was trying to reduce a few inches. It took me around 4 or 5 years to be where I am, and I'm still not in the best shape. I would say I'm in the best shape of my life. That would be incorrect, but I would say that I'm still not where I wish to be. I wish to be muscular. People should be able to look at you and say, oh yeah, that person lifts weights. So that is my goal, and I have absolutely no shame in admitting that. And that's exactly, that's one of the reasons that motivates me to go to the gym. And I love the way it makes me feel, and of course the hormones that are released and the things it does to my body. All of these things just add up to make me feel the way I feel when it comes to workout. And I am the last person in the face of earth to tell you that go to the gym. I am such a yoga and Pilates sort of a girl, but over the time, now that I understand it, now that I've read about it, now that I understand muscle protein synthesis, and I know how important it is for longevity, I am very okay doing it, because I love my body and I have to take care of my body. I need to protect my body, and that is how my body is going to be able to take care of me, protect me, and keep me happy and sane, and all of those good things. So you always have to remember, when it comes to muscle, when it comes to protein, you would look into RDA recommendations, and that would be about 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram body weight. I wouldn't say that it's wrong, because RDA recommendation, that is what it means. It wants to prevent deficiencies, and it does not want you to be sick, but our motive is being optimally fit. So I would say a very neat place is 1.5 gram per kilogram to 2 gram per kilogram of body weight. I used to take very less amount of protein, and I'm not asking you to wake up one day and eat 100 grams of protein. Not that it's a lot of protein, but it's a lot of protein for you, because you have not eaten it in a very long time. Plus you have also some sort of gut issues here and there. A lot of people have severe gut infections, and if you take protein under such conditions, it's not going to be neat, and it's just not going to be right. So if you have some sort of gut infections, if your poop smells, if you have smelly farts, if you're burping, belching, you're bloated, don't do it. This advice is not for you. But for people who feel great saying you're doing your workouts, I think 1.5 gram per kilogram to 2 gram per kilogram of body weight is a very sweet spot when it comes to protein. And it's honestly not a lot of protein. It's just optimal protein that's going to prevent you from sarcopenia. It's going to prevent you from muscle dystrophy. It's just going to take care of that beautiful body and keep you in not an inflamed state, because inflammation, I also discussed inflammaging, that is inflammation and aging. And yes, aging is a process where when you test for proteins like C-reactive protein or tumor necrosis factor factor, TNF, you test for these things, you test for interleukin 6, you test for hsCRP, and you would always see that for a lot of elderly people, and even we see it in people who are in their 20s, that it's too elevated. So until and unless they're recovering from some sort of surgery, it's a different thing. But if it's just regularly, they're just living about their lives, and if these markers are elevated, we know that there is some sort of beautiful inflammation going on in the body that the body is trying to recover from, and you have to support the body, and this is not the time where you ingest a lot of protein. Now I understand when it comes to vegans and vegetarians, of course it's a very difficult number to hit. It is difficult for me too, because I don't eat eggs, I don't eat non-vegetarian food. My only sources will be dairy and whey, and I cannot go a lot on it. So I do take dairy, I do take whey, I do eat my carbs and fat along with it, and I think I can safely say I am now eating a very protein centric diet. So my every meal is going to have about 40 grams of protein thrice in a day. I am not hungry to eat even a bite of snack in any point of the day until and unless it's time for me to eat. It's just how your body becomes. It's the beauty of the circadian rhythm, and again the beauty of the body that we live in. So protein is a very satiating macromolecule, but at the same time it's very difficult to digest. So if you have issues with stomach acid, if you have ever tested for gastrin pH, and if it comes to be very low, you know that you are not going to be able to digest that. It's just going to sit in your body rot, and it's going to create more problems. So again, heal your gut, make sure your stomach acids are great, make sure your movement is good, make sure you're digesting food. If you are a girl, make sure your periods are great, they don't hurt, and you don't have endometriosis, PCOD, infertility, some sort of issues. And if all of these things are in place, eating 1.5 gram per kilogram to double the amount of body weight of protein is not going to be harmful. Someone asked me, Ankita, you asked us to not look at weight, so how do we know about weight and protein? Yeah, if you have to just check your weight once and calculate the protein that you need. So let's say if I am 70 kgs, I need 140 grams of protein. If you're 60, you need 120. If you're 50, you need 100. I hope you're not below 50. And if you're 80, you need 160. So that's sort of a number. And yeah, so that's a few basics about protein. Ask me a few questions. If it's a debate or if it's an argument, I won't indulge in it. But if it's a genuine query, I will try my best to get back to you so that I don't leave you hanging. And plant-based protein powders are great. Whey protein powders are great if the supplements are good and the brand is good. When it comes to BCAA, I don't think BCAA is a bad supplement. I think it's beautiful. I am going to do a detailed post on it tomorrow, or maybe today, or maybe tomorrow morning. But I think BCAAs are great if you find a good brand. There are one or two brands that I do like, but it's not that readily available in India. And then there are a lot of BCAA supplements. So basically your BCAA is going to be that, leucine, isoleucine, valine ratio, and that is just going to do the signaling for Emptor. Most people take it as an intra-workout, but you don't really want to take isoleucine or leucine or valine in separate forms. You want to take 3.5 grams, one shot, and be done with it. That's what signals the Emptor, because you need exact 3.5 grams, not more, not less. So that's the drill with BCAAs, and I'm going to do a post on it so you can save that as well. But usually BCAA has a lot of preservatives and stabilizers, and they put some artificial sweeteners and stuff, and I just think in the long run it can affect someone's gut microbiome. And since I do have a sensitive gut, and since I have taken a lot of time to recover, I'm not willing to take that risk, and it's just not a beautiful barter for me. So I'm not indulging myself in that. But I will be posting about brand names and stuff soon on my wall as well. I've already done brand recommendations where I have discussed about protein and protein powders and plant-based protein powders and whey-based protein powders. So I definitely recommend you checking that out. And if you have any genuine queries, I would be more than happy to help you. But until then, take care of yourself, and I'll be posting a happy Sunday video this Sunday. So I'm very excited, and yeah, take care of yourself. Bye.